let's share this out. Check, check, check. Okay, good. Facebook. Okay, let's get on to it. So today we are checking out the FLSUN Super Racer. This is my first Delta printer that we are going to be unboxing. So this is a pretty large printer from what I can tell. Just looking at the information on it. Let's see here. Yeah, it is. That's a pretty big printer. So its overall size is 440 by 390 by 960, and the printing size is 260 by 330. So it's a pretty good size printer. Good morning from my fellow peeps in the UK. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's check this bad boy out and see how it goes. I'm expecting a disaster because I don't know nothing about Delta printers. Commercial invoice. There we go. Alright, let's close this down because... Alright, there we go. Honey Badger 3D paint and print. Good morning. I love watching Delta printers. The way the gas struts work is so cool, but the circular build plate has always put me off. See, I'm basically the same way. I love the way that these things print. They are the coolest looking 3D printers you could ever imagine. The downfall is literally everything about them. Everybody that I talk to that has had a Delta or uses a Delta, they're always problematic. They always have some sort of issue. So we'll have to see, but yeah, it'll be interesting. And hopefully we don't have any major problems with it, but we'll have to see. So, all right. Without further ado, let's get into this and get it unboxed here. This is ridiculously large. Okay, so we're going to have to somehow rotate this so we can get this all up and out of here so we can build this. So let's put it this way. That way you guys get an even better shot of it. There we go. All right, so we have our user manual and maybe some leveling paper. Let's see what else this is. Dear customer, thanks for your order. Basically, this is just a setup for the SD card. We'll look at that in a second. Okay, so it looks like we got our power cord, which I probably won't end up using right now, but we'll use that later if we tend to move that around. An actual kind of nice USB cord, not one of those cheap blue ones. It's actually very, very nice. It's got a, what do they call that, ferroid caps or whatever on it to like tone down the noise. So it looks like we have a hot end, replacement hot end, maybe the actual hot end. I hope not. Looks like maybe a titanium heat break on there with a standard nozzle. Looks like it's just a standard block. Actually, you know what? This might be a volcano block now that I'm looking at it. And if that's the case, that's really nice to have because like the Viper that's right here, that has a volcano block, and those are known to just, you know, print away without a lot of issues. So, all right, let's dig in here. Spool holder. We have a nice size spatula. It's not, doesn't have an edge to it. It's just a flat spatula, which, that's basically useless. Looks like some cool titanium carbon fiber looking shot things. Wow, those look really cool. Those are carbon fiber. Carbon fiber. Now, are they real carbon fiber? We'll have to see about that one. I doubt it. It does kind of sound like it is, though. Let's see, what else is this? Oh, that's fun. So we have our uprights. These are pretty beefy. Got linear rails on the inside. These are FLSUN stepper motors. So we do have some adjustment knobs for the belts that are on there as well. So that's kind of nice. Again, I don't really know too much about Delta printers. Like I said, this is my first one, so we'll have to see what goes on with it. Pretty sure this will be the same. Yep, we have our other motor with adjustments, belts, and then the third one should be exactly the same. Yeah, it actually does feel and sound like real carbon fiber, but you never know. They do make pretty good knockoffs. So. Okay, so we have our base. Take this bad boy out. So pretty sizable base. Definitely bigger than my hand, so this is a larger model. Let's see here. The default input voltage power supply is 220. If the local is 110, please contact us and we will provide help and tutorials. So on here there should be a switch to switch the power on this somewhere, I would think. Ah, there it is. So we're going to switch that really quick. Switch that to 115. What's the print volume on this? Like that upright looks huge. Yeah, the printing size is 260 by 330. So that's bigger than an Ender 3. So, like, I don't think that's 260, but that's what it's telling me. So I have the website up right here, and like the overall size of the machine is 440, 390, and 960. So it is a pretty tall machine, but it says that its printing volume is 260 by 330. So that's a pretty tall build volume, but I don't know. That just doesn't look like 260 to me. Maybe it is. Because, I mean, I do have a plate. That is 235. So it might be. Might be just because it's weird, because it's a round. I don't know. We'll see. We have a little drawer in here. Oh, nice. They got a nice little drawer that pops out here. You can put all your tools in. I kind of like that a lot of printers are doing that. We do have aviation connectors, so this is like the old CR10 style setups. We have our top, which has our filament guide in it. Our little tiny remote, which looks like it's magnetic. So that's kind of cool because it's got like a remote thing. You can just kind of push it like that. That's interesting. So we have all of our electronics on the top here. Looks like the board is on here as well. Can't really tell what type of board that is. I'm not too in tuned with 3D printer boards anyways. I know them here and there, but yeah. Yeah, that's definitely our board. Maybe like an MKS board or something. SD card slot, USB. So this is going to be our top. Kind of interesting to see that. What do we got here? We have I'm guessing this is the bed probe, most likely. Because I know that's how these printers kind of probe a little bit. We have a dual geared extruder. Obviously, it's one of the cheap Chinese knockoffs with a filament runout sensor. So this has got all the bells and whistles you would want on a Delta, or well, pretty much on any printer. What do we got here? We got some cleaning supplies, some extra pieces. So we might actually have to assemble the hot end, actually, now that I'm looking at it, which I'm not too keen on. So if that's the case, I'm already not digging it. But we'll have to see. Oh, it comes with a scratch pad. I don't know why you would even need that, but it really shouldn't. It does come with a 200 gram little tiny spool, so that's kind of nifty. I like that little spool. Guessing this is the hot end assembly. That's really cool looking. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is a Volcano hot end with a V5 or a V6 hot end. Just judging by the looks of it, usually that type of heat block means that it's a Volcano, and it does have a sock on it, unlike the Anycubic Viper. That's one of the downfalls of that printer, is it didn't come with that. So we have dual 40-15 fans with some nice cooling ducts. These are ABS, not printed, so they actually, put some money into it, unlike some places. And these are all quick connects, so this is very, very nice. This is a nice swappable hot end, and it looks like we got a 40mm fan on the front for cooling. So far so good. This is a nice setup. I especially like those. That entire hot end is quick to be changed out. I like that a lot. All right, let's get to checking out everything else. Let's read some comments really quick. Oop. So nearly 1 meter tall, but only 330 on the Z. Yeah. So it's pretty big. I think it's actually one of the biggest like Deltas that are sub $600, because as of right now this is about $409 on their website. So the board is proprietary on that one. It is an FLSUN board, but real similar to an MKS Robin. That's why it looks like a familiar board to me, because something uses a Robin that I was just using. The Two Trees Bluer, that uses a Robin board. So, and it does have removable drivers. Yes, it does. I did see that. From looking at it, it looks like they're 2208s or 2209s that are on there. So this should be a fairly quiet printer. So I'm just going to go over some stuff on here. It does have a Volcano hot end. I'm looking on their website. Dual drive extruder. So those are two things that are really, really nice. Obviously, we're probably going to end up having to replace the dual drive extruder sometime down the line because it's not a actual good one. It's just like a cheap Chinese knockoff one. Not the end of the world. That's kind of common with a lot of things. So let's see. It's talking about the parallel arms here, the carbon fiber. Let's see what it says. It says 3K high strength carbon fiber parallel arm. Double spring structure can still ensure accuracy and stability during high speed movement. Modular design. No tools are required for assembly or disassembly. So it is real carbon fiber, or so they say it is. So that's really, really nice. And for the price that you pay for this, you're getting a pretty good package. I was kind of weary about it because like everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is a great printing volume," but yeah, that's a great printing volume, but at what cost? And really, they kind of pulled out all the stops on this and gave it a very nice setup so far. So we'll see how it prints. But as of looking at this, I mean, it's a pretty viable printer so far. So, all right. And again, we do have some extra parts here, and then our screws and whatnot. So we're gonna have to open this bad boy up and get it up out of the way. All right. So it looks like a bag of bolts that we got to use to put this all together. So, what about 20 or 30 screws? I want to say. And then this is what I want to look at. What is this? I think this is all extra stuff. So they actually provide you. If that's the case, they provide you with extra stuff. Not really sure why you need that. Maybe for the touchscreen, because that's like a special cloth. You do get some extra PTFE tubing. You get the crappy USB, micro USB, and that is an unbranded micro USB and unbranded SD card. Some 3D printed U-joints. I'm not really sure where those go, but we'll find out. Some zip ties and a acupuncture needle for our clogs. They do send you an extra thermistor and an extra heater cartridge. So they actually send you all the parts that would fail on a hot end extra on top of this. So this is probably one of the better printers that I've opened up in terms of like what they give you to make sure that you are up and running at all times. So that's very, very nice and not really seen all the time. Good morning, Vincent. Yeah, so that's definitely a titanium heat break with a Volcano hot end. So with those in there, if you were to build an enclosure for this, you could definitely print ABS, PC, nylon, like right off the bat. Like this printer should be able to print anything that you need up to a certain temperature, obviously, and who knows, it might be able to handle up to higher temperatures. Let's take a quick gander here really quick before we start putting this together, just to make sure I'm not missing anything in terms of heat. Yeah, and the other thing that this thing boasts about is the insane speeds that it can be at. So the default is 150 millimeters a second, and it can be maxed out to 200 millimeters a second. So that means it is a very, very fast printer. Out of the box, it does print PLA, ABS, and PETG. So now, obviously, with ABS, you can probably print it in an open area, but you're going to lose probably about 30% of your setup. Now, it doesn't say TPU, but with it being a dual gear direct drive, or not direct drive, a dual geared extruder, you can probably do that. You just have to play with the profile because obviously you have a longer Bowden tube. So yeah, you might just have to play with it a little bit, or it might not work because you have so much of a Bowden tube on it. So that's why they probably don't list it on there. But that's at least what that's what it says. No, sorry, it does not have direct drive. I meant dual gear. Sorry, dual gear. So as you can see, this is a completely separate piece from the hot ends. The hot end's right here, and then this is the drive. Okay, this is the extruder. So two separate pieces. So no, it is not. Now you could probably easily make this a direct drive setup, but we'll have to see. All right, so voltage already. Do not touch the hotbed. Blah blah blah. All right, let's get this started. So it says on here PLA, ABS, PETG, and wood. Now wood's obviously going to destroy the nozzle, but they do include an entire extra hot end, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we're not going to try wood filament on here. So that is the touchscreen bracket, 200 grams of filament, screws. It says grease, but I did not see a thing of grease in here. Unless I'm missing it. They might have removed that. Yeah, I see everything but that. So I wonder if that's for the linear rails. They were supposed to include some grease, but I do not see any. Alright, let's go here. Okay, so our assembly instructions. Let's read this piece of paper again and see what it is. Dear customer, thanks for your order. Please read the user manual carefully. If you have any problems while using, please contact support, blah, blah, blah. Please back up all SD card files. Format the SD card. So it actually tells you very, very specifically, like, you should, you know, take everything off of the SD card and redo it. So you start from fresh. So that's not something you see every day from a regular printer. Yeah, we are building what's called the FLSUN Super Racer. It is a Delta style printer, so it's going to be pretty tall. It's probably going to be out to here, and it is a Delta, so it kind of like swings, swing arm printer basically. So anyway, without further ado, let's get everything started here. We're gonna put this over here, this over here, and it says to start with the top, so we're gonna do that. Let's get our trusty screws out. So once I get those arms out of the way, then we can have a little better time building stuff. Where's the one? There it is. Okay. So it looks like for the most part, these are all the same type of screws. You know, there's a couple that are smaller, but I think it's just two different style screws. So that's really, really nice to have there. So it's 4 screws per post on each side, and obviously 4 screws on the top most likely as well. So alright, so we're going to put the motors into here, install the axis. Now it doesn't tell me what axis is what, but there are labels on each and every one of them here, so we're just gonna plug them in and put them in. This is the x-axis. Know what? Yes, it is my first Delta. Glad to hear. I will say that I'm quite impressed with the stuff that's on here already. The only thing, you know, obviously, like I stated earlier, the dual geared extruder is kind of like a cheaper knockoff one, so I'm expecting that one to not last very long. But you know, that's pretty common with most of those, so I'm not too concerned with it. There's not really a good way to put this on. And the threading on this is terrible. Like, they're just not lining up the way that I want them to. You're working on an Ender 3 with a direct drive setup, huh? That's cool. Not my cup of tea, but hey, you know, have at it. I will say this is pretty simple setup. So for those who are building this, I do suggest doing a crisscross when you are installing these bolts. I don't think it's necessarily needed, but it's always good practice to do. Should we take my hat off? The Anycubic wash and cure is a good one. Works great. Oh, okay. Ah, okay. I see what you were talking about. Yeah, the Anycubic wash and cure is pretty cool. Oh god, I dropped some bolts here. Let's go and find those. put in all those, put in the one access, install the other two, and now we're going to install the bottom. So we're going to remove these over here. I'm curious to know what these printed parts are that they included. So, install the bottom. Top shelf should be installed in the loom as well. So, maybe we shouldn't have tied down those. Okay. Specific way this needs to go on? Doesn't say. I think we're gonna have to loosen this back up. Let's double check here. Okay, so where's the FLSUN? There's that. Okay, and showing that is the drawer at the front. Drawer should be facing this way. These instructions are not that great. I love that are building this on the wobbliest decks you have. Yeah, so unfortunately I'm kind of limited with that. But it's just the fact that because these are tight, it's not letting me put the stuff in here. So we need to loosen up these screws a little bit. Which kind of scares me a little bit, because does that mean that these are not straight uprights? So what's up, Jerry? surprised you're still up, bud. Well, I guess it's what, 11 by you? 12 maybe? Just building my first Delta printer. And it's kind of going so-so. There. Let's try this again. FLSUN there. That goes there. That's much better. One side in. So I guess those do kind of stop. So that's good. All right. Okay. So now we can get all of these little screws in here. So, just for reference, so it tells you 1, 2, 3 install the Z-axis, 4 plug into motors, install all the screws 1 to 4, and then it says 1 axis, okay, then install the other 2 axis, install the bottom shell. So with that, when you get to installing the other 2 uprights, make sure that those screws are loose, because if you have these screws tightened down all the way, you're not going to get that thing on there. I don't care how much you're going to finesse it, like it's not going to work. So just loosen them up a little bit, and then at the end tighten everything down. this is a printer next on your list to buy? Well, so far it's a pretty nice nice printer. The instructions are a little wonky when setting it up, but I mean, it's not terrible. Okay. Now that we got it pretty much set up, cheapest I can find is for $4.99 on Amazon. So there is, I didn't see that there was a listing on Amazon, but you can get it from their website for $409. I don't know if that includes shipping. There's 225 in stock right now, so. But on FLSUN's website, you could actually purchase it for that. So that's actually the touchscreen bracket? No. Oh. We got a touch. So this is the touchscreen bracket. And you basically put that in the extrusion rail and slide it all the way up. It's a little wonky, but all right. You can adjust it down if you want. It's kind of cool that it's got a pivoting mechanism too. Okay. Okay, move it down, blah, blah, blah. 16. We're going to pull the parallel arms on both sides. basically we have to pull these apart, put them on there. Okay, that's a lot simpler than I thought it was going to be. Okay, there's that. There's that. Okay. 19 connectors of the effective modular cables. One thing that's nice about this is they didn't zip tie everything. They just kind of twist tied it, which is a hell of a lot better and easier to get rid of. Not that they don't include a pair of clippers for you to, work on. Let's read some chat here really quick. I see you got the big boy resin printer in the back. Yes, I do. How long you think it will take you to put it together? So the problem is like these are actually pretty easy to put together. It's just the fact that I constantly talk and do all other things. So yeah, the Super Razor so far it's got everything checked off in terms of like a badass printer out of the box. Like anything that you could want on a printer that is right out of the box, this thing has. It has dual geared extruder. It has a volcano hot end on it. All of the fan ducts and everything are not printed. They're actually ABS molded. You have carbon fiber on these things. Everything is quick connects. So that's really, really awesome. I totally like that. Like, that's really, really cool. Okay. Install the effector motor. So they call so the effector motor is the hot end. And this one, oh no, I thought they zip tied this one. I was gonna be like, no. Again, it's not the end of the world. They do provide clippers. So the only thing that I wish that they had was it came with a better Bowden tube, like the whatchamacallit. Okay, so those printed S's, those are actually clips, which if you have good connectors, you don't need that. Which this one has a weird coupler on it. Usually there's a plastic coupler or rubber, so it's like it's metal, and then there's the plastic part that kind of clips in. This one looks like it's metal to metal. So this is a heavy duty clipper. Now we are doing activities as long as $409. Yeah, I was just looking on your guys' website. $409. You have 225 units in stock. So if anybody's looking for it, then all right. Install the effector motor with the logo forward. So we got to put it on this way, and let's put this on. This is very strange on how this is done. So now we're going to connect all the connectors, which they all are pretty much color-coded. There's two that are the same color, or I'm sorry, three that are the same color, but they have different style connectors on them. So they did think this through when doing connections and everything. So I dig this setup already. This kind of reminds me of a Prusa, actually. Quite happy already. the extruder somehow. The part cooling looks quite good as well. Too many FDM machines just have part cooling from one side. Yeah, this has dual 4015 fans, and they do have nice ducts right on the front. So that could be a good thing and a bad thing because there might be too much cooling on it, but we'll have to see. We'll play around with it and see what we can print with it. As for Matt asking about TPU, you know, we could try out TPU and see how it goes. It's worth a shot. Not really digging how that's set up, but yes, I know, my wobbly table. Put the main cable into the groove. Like that, I'm guessing? This is not going very well if that's the case. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, this is not a very good design here for this. Oh, good. Glad to hear. I wish I had an affiliate link. Otherwise, I'd say, hey, you know, use my affiliate link. But so that part I'm just kind of iffy about. Yeah, I do have a link provided, but it's just it's a standard link on the description here. So, all right, put the main access or main cables into the access. Now we need to install the extruder. Okay, and we are going to use 2 M4 shorts. Now, where are we going to install this? Right next to that. We're going to be installing outside. So Matt, you were asking about build time. I'd say this is on par with a normal Ender 3 build. Maybe just a little bit more. Just because of the size. So, but yeah, I'd put it right up there with that that build time. Maybe just a tad bit more. So yeah, this is so strange. This is an all metal coupler. So power here never goes out, and then it did. Yep, that's why you always have a battery backup. And I also have another one, and I have one down here. Like I have a battery backup, then a battery backup. So that one's on a double, and I'll probably end up plugging that thing into this so I can have some more. And yeah, only $409. They Blank already went and bought one from the website. So the PTFE tube. Okay, so now one of the things I didn't look at, and it kind of, the PTFE tube and the filament detection entrance must align. So there's a filament detection, and there's a little piece of PTFE that we need to get out of here. And basically what you need to do is you need to line it up and then screw it down. So we need to take this off really quick. Which is nice that it does that, because then you have a direct filament path. So they thought everything out on this machine. I'm actually very, very surprised. Plug in the filament detector. It should be right there. Okay, and then obviously our extruder motor. Okay. Oh, stupid me. They really did think of everything. Literally. It's weird just seeing it. Alright, fix the pneumatic connector with a buckler. So they suggest putting this on. Okay, so now we have M4 shorts. Put that on like this. This is gonna be fun. right, Jerry. Thanks for stopping in, bud. You take it easy. Don't forget to like the video and ring that bell. Yeah. Subscribe. Like the video. Sticky film. Okay, so we are in the final stretches. Okay, I already did the input voltage. So let's go ahead and this to the front again. And where's our power cord? Let's see if this is long enough. So we need to use the diagonal pliers to clean up anything, which we're good. Now we need to auto level. So we need to connect the leveling switch to this. Okay. And then this just kind of clips on here. Magnetized lines. Sits right there. Oh. All right. It's kind of goofy, but all right. Okay. So now we're going to turn this bad boy on. Okay, so we are going to go to Tools, to Auto Level, and we are going to Auto Level. Please plug in leveling switch before auto leveling. Okay. So we're going to home, all axis. Okay. Very quiet. So it's kind of like a CNC machine. You need a webcam in your build desk, man. Well, I just changed all this, so I'm going to probably route another camera so I can do some dual feed. I might actually put one like right here so I can get close on it. Let's open up our filament here. Probably SD cards. What was that? It's one of those springs finally tensioning right. I'm hoping. Looks like. Okay. Leveling, please wait. Takes a long time for this to level. Auto leveling takes about 2 minutes. Remove the leveling switch and disconnect the connector after auto leveling. Okay. Click to move. I hope you don't have to do that too much, because that's a lot of work. Let's see. Make sure you disable power loss recovery or it'll keep pausing as it writes to your SD during prints. Really? Disable power loss. Why would that affect the SD card? SD card reader, there are some important files on SD card. Please read and watch first. Alright, so while it's doing that, okay, so it looks like we're leveling it done. So we're going to remove the switch. And I like that that's magnetic, because you could just put it right up there. Like, or just put it right in there. There you go. Perfect. All right, let's take a look. That folder did not open, which already kind of worries me, because it didn't recognize that. Okay, well that USB drive is not working, so let's try Street. There we go, that's better. Okay, so there is a test print on there. There are some print test modes. All right, let's take a look here. View. Let's do large icons. So they have a knurling thing for a test print. Those are the fittings, so that's cool. They provide the file for the little fittings for the PTFE tubes, so that's kind of cool. Troubleshooting software guide. Okay, let's read me. Thanks for your order. No. Official, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, user manual, videos, software, and drive. We do provide Kira with the driver and firmware informations. Okay. All right. Modbot has a review on it. Learned about the fix from him. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Okay, so we did the leveling. Now we need to move z-axis to 0. Yes. You got to make sure that the leveling piece is removed. Otherwise, you're going to have a bad day. So, and it should just go right to the plate. Put in A4 paper. Between the hotbed and a nozzle, and then we need to adjust the z-axis. So we need to come down. Yep. A little too close on that. Okay, so we're going to save that. Okay, so we're going to save, return to home, thread the power, or thread the filament through, load filament, heat up, we're going to do PLA. Okay, we're going to extrude. No, we're not going to extrude. We're going to do change filament. We're going to do in. So, where's that SD card? It's right here. SD card setup is right here. Okay, so it tells you how to load filaments. First layer verification, so I would think that it has baby stepping. Yeah, it does. Adjust Z. Okay. And adjust the distance between the nozzle. Okay, clean the hotbed. So it does tell you everything in pretty much detail, like what you need to do. So even for a beginner printing person, this is really nice. It's even got set up for Kira on the page. I know that's kind of whitewashed, but it's got all the information on how to set this up in Kira and how to get it printing in Kira. Touch screens, all the panels, and what it can do. What happens if something's wrong with it. So here's the motherboard picture. It's actually got fuses on it, like fuse, like car fuse. The hell? Maintenance, okay. Yeah, it says apply grease to the ball joint, but I didn't get any grease that I saw, unless it's in another package somewhere or something. But I didn't see any grease there, buds. Not the end of the world. I can always just go out and buy some grease. Okay, so the little brush is to clean the extruder, actually, which that's a first for me. just basic maintenance stuff. Iron sheet, cylinder gasket, belt adjustment. Yeah, okay. So we're good. Okay, we're threading the filament through. Okay, so we got filament. So it's extruding properly. Okay, so we're gonna go back out, and we're gonna go to prints. Test.g code. Let's see what that is. It's a little too close. We're still a little too close. That should be good. I have no idea what it's printing, but hey, it's printing. What size filament? It's 1.75, your standard filament. Oh, you know what? I think this is the knurl. So if you guys are on TikTok, you've seen it going around kind of viral. It's basically the knurled, the screw. And there's a top and a screw part, and you screw it down, and they connect together. Yeah. I mean, it's good that they went with an all metal, or at least it looks like a titanium heat break. That's what the titaniums usually look like. I could be wrong about that, but if they went with a volcano, most likely they dipped into the funds to do a titanium heat break. I'll have to verify, but yeah, I mean, so far it's pretty nice. Like I said, it's always cool to see these things printing because they're just like they're very alien like. But we'll let this print for a little bit, and we'll probably spend another 15 minutes on the live stream here and see where we go. But yeah, so far we're doing pretty good. It's at 2% right now. See what other options we have. So we have temp, fan, and speed. So we can pick up the print speed if we wanted to. Adjust Z. So it's at 43 millimeters a second right now. So it's actually kind of slow for what it can actually do. And it kind of jumps. It is a pretty awesome printer. I will say that. Like I said, I've always loved the way that Delta printers print because they're so weird looking. And in my opinion, it's like the definition of what a 3D printer should be. Like it's very mechanical and a machine-like printing type thing. So this is what I think of as 3D printers. So just because it's such an oddball looking thing. I gotta go to the hospital today, and my son's 15. Well, let's tell him happy birthday. Now, one thing I might add on to this is a flex plate, but we'll have to see. Whoa, that thing jumped up to 120 millimeters a second. Good lord, that was quick. That was 140 right there. So this thing is going insane. I wish I hadn't had my up-close camera set up here. And the infill is like squiggly lined. I forgot what the name of that is, but now, if you guys are looking for downsides on this, really the only downside that I can think of right now, besides the cheap extruder, but that's kind of common with these printers, so I'm just gonna wipe that away. These carbon fiber rods, they're glued in place, and they don't look the greatest. Like, you would think that somebody would clean up the edges of it, but where the carbon fiber rod seats into the coupler, there's a big old ring of glue around that. So, which, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's more or less just a cosmetic thing. It makes it look kind of cheap. But that's about the only thing that I see like a major issue with this. So, again, we'll have to try some TPU on this and see if it works. I don't see why it wouldn't. It's got a dual geared extruder, so it should work perfectly fine for it. But again, only time will tell. The other thing that I wish they did is, like, okay, they have the filament path up here through the filament runout sensor. Then there's about a gap between the filament sensor and the PTFE tube from the extruder that is just kind of open. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess I can see the reasoning behind that. In case something happens, you have that gap there that's not pulling it through the runout sensor and killing it. But it'd be cool to have like a full filament path, so you're not having to ever deal with filament. But that's an easy fix. You just cut some PTFE tube down to wherever you need it, and there you go. You have that complete filament path directly to the hot end. So awesome that it has direct plug and play drivers. You can change them to whatever you want. Yes. Now I will say that listening to this, they on the extruder motor, it sounds like it's a 4988 stepper, which is fine, because if you're going to be printing at the speeds that this is allowed at 200 millimeters a second, you need something that's a little bit stronger than a 2208 or a 2209. 2208 and 2209 are meant to be silent. They're not meant to be strong or heavy duty. And when you put that on an extruder or a Z, a lot of times it has issues with that. So this is going pretty quick. We're already at 18%. So if you print TPU, you must go slow. So with this printer, yeah. So unfortunately, that's probably why they don't list TPU, because it's not like this. This printer is meant for speed. That's exactly what it is. So like all those printers that are on the market, the Borons, like this is stock. this is the printer to go up against those. Because, like I said, on the website it says stock it's 150 millimeters a second, which is insane. I think the Ender 3 has like 80 millimeters a second out of the box. So that's almost double the speed. And you can max it out to 200 millimeters a second, it says. So that's crazy. Like, this thing's getting up to almost 200 millimeters a second. And that's why we're already at 18%. We're at 22% now. Like, this thing prints ridiculously fast. So if you need really, really fast parts, there you go. This printer's for you. Or a Voron. But you gotta price it there. Like, Voron's what, almost $1,000, I want to say, in parts and stuff. Maybe a little bit less. I guarantee it's not $400. Can guarantee that. And this probably has just as good of parts. Like I said, it's got a Volcano hot end. Looks like it has a titanium heat break. So if you, like I said, you built an enclosure for it or had something that was an enclosure for it, like this thing, out of box, it's untouchable as far as I can tell. For the price point that it's at, for the speed that it can do, and the material that it can print out of box, it's unbeatable in its price range. Now, unfortunately, printing size is where its downfall is. But I mean, if you're printing long pieces and not so much wide pieces, then okay, you can probably get away with it. But printing a helmet on here, you might be able to get away with printing a kid size helmet or something, or a mask. You could definitely print a mask on this, no problem. Like, this is a mask. Yeah, that'll fit on there, no problem. Like, that's just a simple Mortal Kombat mask. Like that'll print just fine, just like that. No problemos. What are we at? We're at 56. So we're already at 35% done, and we're printing at between 140 and 180 millimeters a second right now. So that's quite ridiculous. But as far as I know, these type of printers, they're the ones to do it. So, like, if you want fast printers, Deltas are the ones to do it. This thing is just going away, man. Yeah. It is insanely moving. And that would explain why they have a Volcano hot end on here, because that'll just push plastic through. Like, with that dual geared extruder plus the Volcano hot end, dude, if you put a large nozzle on this thing, you could just start pumping out parts like nothing. Like, super quick. And I'm just amazed because the detail The detail's still there. So, like, if anybody knows what this print is, it's the knurled print. So, what it is it's kind of got like nubs all around it, like this print does. Okay, it's got nubs all around it. So it's actually printing those, and it's printing it at 140 to 180 millimeters a second. Printing it without supports, an overhang at 180 millimeters a second. I don't know any printer that can do that, except for probably a Voron, but that's lots of money. So as of right now, this is a nice printer. A lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be some cheap, fast printer that had a large build volume on it, and everybody was just going to be talking about it. And I haven't really looked on the forums or the groups or anything like that about problems with the machine. So I don't really know anything except for what Blank had said on here. But yeah, we'll have to look at that. I'm not too concerned about that because this printer is already going to be going to somebody after I'm done with it. Because I'll be honest, I don't really need it. I have a plethora of machines, but he is my other admin in my group, and I promised him this printer when I was done. So because I don't really have a use for it. Like, I might keep the Anycubic Viper that's right here, but even that's kind of iffy. I only use these printers to print parts, like stuff that I hang on my wall and whatnot. So you only wish. But I do have about 12 other printers in there that need to be reviewed. So who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll send something to you. We'll have to see. Okay, so it looks like we are completing a top. And it is going over the infill pretty well. I don't have a contact for Elegoo. And to be in all honesty, with what I had to deal with the Elegoo Saturn and my Elegoo Mars, I'm good. I don't think I'll ever own another Elegoo product. I definitely won't buy one if I'm not going to turn around and sell it right away. So if I don't get a Mars 3, I will probably end up ordering one, and at that point I'll either resell it or give it away, because I kind of slimmed down my setup here. As you guys can see, I used to have 20 resin printers. That's not the case anymore. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 printers now. But with that being said, these are medium-sized printers. So that's technically 2 small printers, 2 small printers, 2 small printers. So that's 6. That's 3 small printers. 9, and that's like 9 small printers right there. That build volume alone. That's 3 medium printers. That build volume. 3 medium printers. Just take that in. So I got rid of a lot of them. I'm actually going to be putting up my Elegoo Saturn for sale pretty soon, because it's just not it's not something that I use. And I've already replaced like 10 things on it, so yeah, I'm good. I'm done with it. I've replaced more on that Elegoo Saturn than I have any of my printers, resin printers that I've had ever combined. Like, that's including destroyed FET film, LCD screen, whatever. So pretty much all the stuff that I've replaced on my machines combined equals that one printer of what I've replaced. I've replaced the screen, I've replaced the board. I've replaced the what is it called? The like it's like the power inverter for the LED. I've replaced that. I replaced the LEDs because there was issues with that. So I mean, and then let's not talk about the build plate that tend to always come unlevel. So I had to buy a new one of that. So yeah. So needless to say, I'm done with LEGU. But if they want to send me a Mars 3, yeah, have at it. But as you guys know, I'm truthful about stuff. Like, we're going to be doing our review on the Viper here in a little bit. I'll probably put that out in the next day or two. Then the next one is the Frozen Sonic Mega, which will probably be at the end of the weekend. And then I have like a how-to video I need to put out there. I have the script all set up. Yes, I actually scripted a video for once. First time I've ever done that, so we'll see how that goes, and if I keep on script, because I tend to do that all the time. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So it's a little different knurled, I guess. It's a nut and bolt, basically, is what this is. So yeah, I'm down to Hell at 1 and LD002H, LD006. Resin printers, not buying anymore. So the Hell at 1 is actually probably one of the better printers that's out there for smaller resin printers. Just because what it has, I believe that has the T8 lead screw on it, so it has the larger Z axis, if I'm not mistaken. And that alone makes it much, much smoother. That's what this machine has. That's what my Hell at Sky has. And it makes it so much different in terms of printing for quality, because you can do much slower printing times and produce an insane amount of results. So way higher than anybody else can. So we are at 66%. I guess we'll let this go, and then we'll test it out, and then we'll end the stream. How about that? And we are printing at 220 and 60. That's pretty toasty. But hey, that's fine. And it is consistently staying at 220, so I'm quite happy to see that silicone sock really helps. But yeah, I slimmed all those down because I don't really use those printers all that much. I probably will end up slimming down some more because I don't use as many as I do now. It's just the fact that I have this large printer now, and I can print what these 3 printers can print in one go. So that's insane. Like, take for example, okay, I had a customer reach out to me. They wanted a print called the Hag House printed, and he got me the resin prints for it. So I ended up printing it, and I have like a whole thing filled of all the prints that I've done so far. And I've done them like in little bits and pieces because I couldn't do it on my large printer because the screen, there's a spot in it that I nicked, and it's just kind of ruined. So I just ordered a new screen. It should be here next week or the week after, finally. But I use like the EPAX E10. I use the Creality Hell at Sky to print those, and there's a file that has all of the prints for like the first floor and the second floor and the third floor and whatever, and they're all together, and none of these printers can fit all that, so I had to do it in 3 parts. Well, that printer alone can do the entire first floor in one go. So did you update your Highlight Sky? You can finally adjust the number of bottom layers. So I actually had the beta unit because me and 2 other people got them way before anybody else did. We actually had it about a week before they announced the Hell at Sky being out, so we had to keep it very hush-hush at that time. But we we're working directly with Creality to try and get everything working on that printer. And the problem is they want to do one thing, and it's not a viable option for users. They basically want to use the Creality Cloud stuff, and it's not going to work very well with a printer like that. It's not going to work well with a resin printer. And unfortunately, that's what they want to try and push, and it's not working. And so we're going back and forth about like what they should do, what they shouldn't do. So mine is actually all open. It's got all of the ability to do whatever I want with it. So I have not updated it because the other person who has the other beta unit, he has tried updating it and he bricked the printer. So he had to revert back to the old software or firmware. And now I think it's back up and working. I haven't asked him, but that's the same person that's going to get this printer. So yeah, but in terms of this printer, I'd say this is a really, really nice printer for anybody looking to get into a Delta and they want speeds. Again, it can't be beat for the price. $409 right now, or what? It was like 500 on Amazon almost. That's still not that bad at that price. $528, so it's $128 more than a normal. Jeez, that's a pretty big jump. But I understand with import fees and everything nowadays, like shipping is just atrocious nowadays. It is so bad now, and it's unfortunate because I do a lot of business across seas, like in the UK and Germany and France. Like that's a lot of my customer base, to be honest. So like when I ship something out, they got to pay VAT taxes now, and it's just terrible. It's like I think it's like $5 extra to pay for postage, and it's like I sell these things at the cheapest because I sell these prints. So for this, you have to pay an extra $5 just to get it imported or exported, whatever, imported into a different country. So like, it's ridiculous how it's changed over the years, or just a year at least. So postage used to be like, so I basically sell those things with shipping included, and that's just because what I make up for in U.S. sales, I can budget it for overseas sales. Well, that used to be the case. Now I have no control over it because I use Etsy, and Etsy automatically adds on a VAT tax, so I can't do nothing about it. I can try and lower the price, but the problem is I price them to cover any international shipping. So if I lower them any more, basically any international sales, I'd not be making anything off of them. So we're at 79%. We're at 28 minutes in, so not too bad. And both fans are going. Now I just have to figure out what I want to print on this. I gotta find something tall that I can print off. What I should do is see if there's an STL for a brick and print that, and just make my entire back wall there printed bricks. All right, Blank. Thanks for stopping in, man. we're gonna be finishing up here in a little bit anyway. Once this print is done, we're at 83%, so we're gonna be finishing up here probably within the next 15 minutes. So I expect this stream to be done by 3:30 my time. So, but thanks for stopping in, and I wish I could have got you a better deal on this printer, but hey, I mean, I got you the best one that I found so far. Excuse me. I'm quite impressed. Upload firmware, huh? I think this is actually one of the first streams I'm gonna do with a completed print on the stream. Yeah, I think we're gonna be just done in time for about 3:30 in the morning. %, almost done. Should be filling out. The retraction on this thing is just insane. still. Five people watching. Who can it be now? 94%. Should be getting pretty close to closing out that infill. %. Getting close. Got 10 more minutes. We can make it. What? How long have we been doing this stream for? I don't even think I got a counter on here. An hour and 52 minutes. So we'll be right at about 2 hours. That's not bad. So 2 hours to unbox a machine, talk to people, and get a first print done. I think that's even faster than an Ender 3. So done. Look at that. That is insane. 37 minutes. Thank you, FLSUN. Stringy there. So let's show off the print. I can't really see it. Whitewashed. There we go. So you can see it's kind of knurled a little bit. That's knurled. That's a pretty nice print. But the $1 million question is, does it fit? Let's see. With no problem whatsoever. Like it, love. That's perfect. Straight off the build plate. Both ways. So it's omnidirectional for it. That's great. So at that ridiculous speed, you can still gain and have dimensional accuracy for the part. Like, there's no hookups on this whatsoever. Like, if I printed this off of on any other printer, I guarantee it wouldn't be this smooth. I'd always have to, you know, do some tweaking to it at some point in time. But both sides, perfect. And the print quality is fantastic. Like, this is a really, really nice printer. So, that's really my thoughts on it right now. We'll do some more printing with it, and we'll come back around in about a week's time with our review. But for the most part, I'm already digging what it has to provide. Now, one of the things that I've been having issues with is those collapsible swords. Now, with this having the dimensional accuracy it is, I'm going to plug the correct dimensions into Cura. And we're going to try and print one of those things, and hopefully it works this time, because I have yet to have a print of that work. I tried it on a Soval SVL3. I've tried it on the Anycubic Viper here. So let's try it on the FLSUN. That seems to be my new, like, if you can print it, you're a good printer right out of the box. Because as of right now, I have not had the ability to print one of those collapsible katanas on a printer yet. They printed, but in terms of collapsible style, that's not working. Never has. So I've tried several different things, and it doesn't print. I don't know why. So, but we'll put that to the test on this, and we'll run a print and see how it goes. But that's pretty much all I got for right now, guys. If you got any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and drop them down below. I did leave a link to buy one of these printers from the FLSUN. It is not an affiliate link, unfortunately. I don't have one for them. But if I do, I will end up adding it. So I'm just going to throw it out there. If you are going to buy from there, there's a possibility it is an affiliate link. So just figured I'd let you guys know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video of the unboxing and everything. And so far, so good. I'm kind of digging the printer. Not too many, little things that are bad with the printer. So, but that can change in a week's time. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Till next time, happy printing.